I was going to teach you some artificial intelligence.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Michael has an AI course. It's called Implementing AI in Commercial Real Estate. Like, you almost don't need Google anymore. There's so much of this that could speed up everything.
It's the biggest shift that we've seen since the only thing I could compare it to is the advent of the internet. Google is in freak out mode right now.
But you had a really cool model on how you prompt, and I wonder if you'd be willing to share that.
Yeah, can you show us a little skin?
Shows ChatGPT is an intern.
Just like bringing a new person on your team who's going to do work for you.
I can have it all in my contact management system, and I can have introductory emails all within minutes.
This has been one of my favorite episodes, I have to say.
I knew it would be.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, I knew it would be.
it really is.
You have captured some expertise in the hottest topic in commercial real estate right now.
Yeah.
And almost everyone is super interested in this,
Yes.
including Timmy.
You make me a little nervous. I really want to impress you.
If this is something that interests you, or if you just have a fear of getting left behind and getting beat by people who will begin to implement AI in their business for efficiency and effectiveness and speed and all that stuff, I would highly recommend you taking a look at his course. It's really, really good.
Michael, this was amazing. Welcome to Commercially Speaking. I'm Timmy Barron, ADHD.
And I'm Bo Barron, CCIM. And where'd the music go? Oh, there it is.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah,
now
yeah,
it's
yeah.
exciting. I don't even know. We're testing out the live music on the fly right now, so we'll see how it sounds on the on the live. But yeah, this is the podcast where Bo teaches me everything about commercial real estate. I'm an actor and comedian, so we started this and I knew nothing. And now I know a lot more.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so here's what I wanted to tell you.
Okay.
It's like through this whole thing, I've been from the beginning like a commercial real estate idiot, right? And now can't really be branded as a commercial real estate idiot. However, I've been going through this like, I'm just soaking in knowledge that I soak up with you, getting more appreciation. But I think last night kind of hit me. I think I kind of want to make a turn in really learning as much about commercial real estate as I possibly can, like to a degree where I'm like one of the most knowledgeable, my tongue was falling out of my mouth. One of the most knowledgeable people about commercial real estate that there is. That's my new goal, just so that I can make fun of commercial real estate people. So yeah, this podcast has taken a turn. Not much has changed.
Well, that seems like an incredible waste of an education.
Not in my opinion. Oh my goodness, not in my opinion.
You can learn all this stuff
Mm-hmm.
where you can create a tremendous amount of wealth, and you're going to use it to just make fun of us.
That's it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's right. Yeah.
Can you monetize that? I mean, just go on like a comedy tour just in front of like CBRE offices. And...
Those are the comedy gigs that are going to pay the most. I know that for sure.
Be a corporate comedian.
Yeah, corporate comedian. That's right.
Well, you know all the top insecurities of commercial real estate brokers, right?
It would be ego taking a hit, I would imagine. But I don't know.
That's one of them. We definitely have big egos. So anytime you want to sell to us or whatever, you got to keep in mind our egos.
That's why I tell everybody they're so handsome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that is pretty tongue in cheek, but the more you can show a commercial real estate professional how you can make them look good or be successful, the better off you're going to be. But we're actually very, very anxious about the future.
Oh.
But we will not tell you that. You know why that is?
Why?
And Michael, you can kind of back me up on this or tell me if you disagree. But man, the hardest thing to do, especially as a broker, is to achieve consistent deal flow.
Right.
Therefore, your income, can be all over the place. And the solution to that is, creating a huge presence and prospecting your tail off, and you can achieve consistent deal flow. But even when you do everything right, you can have sections of a year where you're just killing it. And then the spigot can turn off and you can go 6 months without getting paid, which creates a scenario where you can make a lot of money in the year and also feel broke for half of it.
Oh.
And so you don't know how long you have to make what you've made last.
Oh.
And it can be a real challenge. And because our industry is made up of folks that basically have, we basically have big egos.
Yeah.
We cover that up. So we won't.
That's why you have such a good poker face. You have an incredible poker face.
I do.
Yeah.
Not with my wife, though. She sees right through that
Well,
stuff.
that's their job.
That's her superpower.
That's their gift to us, really.
Yeah. We're also an industry full of lazy practitioners. Not you.
Not you.
But most of it. So a lot of us, because we're anxious about the future, we're nervous about cash flow, we treat the business like a hobby instead of a business. True businesses, they spend a lot of money to make the money that they make. Brokers are incredibly cheap, and they trend, average broker trends kind of lazy.
Oh, yeah.
So they won't always do all the hard work to get over the hump and get things. So yeah, tend to be kind of lazy, tend to be cheap, anxious about the future, and they cover it all up with their big egos. Would you agree with that, Michael?
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
We're not talking about real estate investors, though, right? We're talking about like in this concept was more brokers.
Yeah, I was thinking about brokers when we were doing this, but yeah.
Well, I do have a piece of advice for this. I don't know who said this originally, but when we live in the past, we're depressed. When we live in the future, we're anxious. When we live in the present, we're happy.
Huh.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
That is
very
nice.
stoic philosophy.
Very stoic philosophy. I think it's really great. I really love it. The other thing I want to say before we move on and introduce our guest officially is I want to get Barbara Corcoran as a guest on this podcast because she does commercial real estate, right?
She does. The shark.
The shark. And I know that's like a big goal, or it almost seems unattainable, but it wouldn't be with a larger subscriber count. And that's where you can really help us out and hit that subscribe button. The more subscribers we get, the higher caliber guests we can have. But we've got some really good ones right now, especially today. Bo, take it away.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me introduce you to my good friend, Michael Hironimus. Michael is the founder and owner of Duck Ridge Realty in Portland, Oregon. He and I became CCIM instructors together. So, you know, there's classes. We're the 2019 class. I kind of refer to it as our pledge class. There were 10 of us. And Michael, not only did we go through the process together, but we sat at the same table.
Oh, wow.
For that week of what we used to call charm school, which is a terrible name, I know, but
I like it.
Instructor training, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a week of intense instructor training. Then if you make it past that week, you're in as a workshop leader, and you kind of work through from there. But Michael and I were table mates, and we've been great friends ever since. And so I'm thrilled to have him on the podcast. So Michael, welcome. This is my brother, Timmy.
Man, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Michael.
I'm a little starstruck by Timmy, frankly. You know, I've seen him on all these podcasts, and now to see him in the flesh, I'm a little intimidated, a little starstruck. So.
Well, I feel thank you.
Well, look, I just got back from Salt Lake City. So every summer, the instructors for the CCIM Institute get together for a couple of days of instructor training. That's what I just came back from. And Michael has a special talent, which explains why he wasn't there in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
Like he did not join us. So Michael, why don't you share with us your special talent?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a special talent, but yes, I did not make it to Salt Lake City because this past weekend was our water ski show. So my son and I are in what's called the Portland Water Spectacular. And so it's a water ski show where we do pyramids and we do swivel skis and we do jumps. My son's going off to college in the fall. And so this was kind of our last sort of summer to get together and be able to do.
He made
this.
the right call.
So,
he was where he needed to be this weekend, or this past week.
Yeah,
but
and it was great. I mean, we had a great time. And
you remember in the movie Jaws?
Yeah.
Remember how they're doing a ski show?
Yes.
And there's like a pyramid of people, and like that's what that's the kind of stuff they're doing.
Oh my,
Like with jumps and all kinds of stuff. Is
Now-
that not cool?
Oh yeah.
that's amazing.
Barefoot.
Oh my God.
So if anybody wants a water ski show team to come to their city, let us know.
All right.
We'll be there.
that's so cool.
That is
Like,
cool.
It,
Yeah.
it is, it's
unique.
It's unique.
I don't know anybody else that does that.
No,
No, I think
me
that's
either.
very cool.
I taught in Iowa last fall, and I was mentioning something.
Go ahead.
Oh, and I ran into this guy who was my student, and I don't know how we got onto it, but I told him about this water ski show. And he goes, I was doing that, and gosh, I forget his name, but he's a CCIM out in Iowa City. And he goes, yeah, I was in it. He showed me videos of him like backward barefooting. Well, the guy ended up getting run over by a boat during a show.
Oh my God.
Almost died. It like the prop like screwed up his head and his shoulder, like barely missed his jugular vein, right?
Oh,
And yeah, it was amazing to hear his stories and all the things. But he does the exact same thing. So I do know of one other CCIM that does water ski shows.
Oh my goodness. His head was almost decapitated.
Yeah, it was. He had a hard time coming back. But yeah, now he's.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh
crazy.
Goodness. Can you all see
Life is
the
short.
Portland Water Spectacular on the screen?
yeah.
Yeah. I was just
Yeah,
seeing
so
if
that's
it's
our
on.
team, and
Wow.
just kind of getting on. And yeah, so that's called a dock start, and there we are making a pyramid.
How does someone get into that?
Just come on down.
Well, how did you get
That's all
into
we did.
it?
Okay, so back in I was born and raised in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. And back then, when I was a kid, we used to have this theme park called Marine World. It was called Marine World USA. And it is right now where Oracle headquarters is. So they eventually, back in the early 80s, sold their land. Oracle built their headquarters right on the same lagoon that they used to have. And so I was a kid watching these, amazing people at the time doing spins barefoot, these massive pyramids. I mean, they would go like 5 high.
Wow.
And I was like, someday I really want to do that.
Wow.
And so we had a place up on the lake. I've been water skiing since I was 9 years old. So it was just natural. And I got my son to do it, which was really cool.
That's got to be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great.
Well, cool. Anybody joining in right now would be like, what? What show is this?
Yes. Well,
This is a commercial real estate show, everyone who's tuning in.
well, let me use that as a pivot point. Michael is an asset manager.
Mm-hmm.
And we've never had an asset manager on here. That's not why I've got him on the show today.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael, why don't you share with Timmy what an asset manager is, what an asset manager actually does?
Yeah.
Well, it kind of depends on the frame, believe it or not, of reference. We teach a course in the CCIM Ward Center course. Somebody who you had on before, Mark Seipert, and I put together a course on portfolio management, asset management. And so portfolio management basically looks over the entire portfolio, all the properties, looks at the goals, how we're doing in terms of the direction that we're going. What's our objective, essentially, right? Property managers are sort of your boots on the ground. They're the ones that are working with the tenants directly, helping negotiate leases, those sorts of things. Well, the asset manager is the person that's in between. And what they do is they're overseeing the financial objectives of each of the individual properties. And depending on the size, it'll be broken up a little bit. But the idea is that the portfolio manager is giving you the goal. This is where we want to go, kind of like the sergeant in the Marines, right? And then the troops down below, then you've got your other levels, right?
Yeah.
I should say. And so the asset manager is the one that is sort of the captain of each of the different properties. And they're overseeing, we oversee the brokerage, we oversee the property managers, we oversee the construction crews, make sure that we're hitting those financial objectives for each of the individual properties. And then we also do portfolio management. So we handle the entire portfolios on behalf of others.
So would it be fair to say if, let's say I own portfolio of commercial real estate properties. I operate them all myself. I've got property managers. I've got brokers who work for me. If I decided, hey, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to enjoy life. I want to go on vacation more with my wife. It would be fair to say that I might hire you to take over the operations of the company or the portfolio and hit the objectives that I've shared with you that I want to hit. And now it's your
Right.
job to accomplish those objectives. Would that be a fair way
Yeah.
to? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And yeah, we sit down with the investors. We understand what it is that they're trying to accomplish with the portfolio because each thing is different, right?
Right.
So are they looking at cash flow? Are they looking at sort of a legacy portfolio to pass down? Are they looking at it in terms of tax advantages? And so everybody sort of has a different objective of what they're trying to accomplish. And so then we build a business plan, which a lot of people don't do, which surprises me, but many people don't put together business plans for their businesses. Like for example, each property is a business, whether you want to believe it or not. And you wouldn't go and start a business without going down and looking, okay, well, what does my customer base look like? What does my competition look like? What is the income? What is my cost of goods? What are my expenses? Those sorts of things. Going down and mapping them all out, understanding what your objectives are. A lot of people don't do that with properties, which they if they did, I think they would be a little more astonished at what they're trying to accomplish and maybe what the property is actually doing for them.
Mm-hmm.
There could be conflicts there. So we sit down with them, go over a business plan. This is what we're trying to accomplish. And then making sure that the properties are, accomplishing that first off, and then try to maximize each individual property, making sure that we're pushing rents on the income side, making sure that we're streamlining expenses on the expense side, making sure that your brokers are doing what they're supposed to be doing,
Right.
making sure your property manager is doing what they're supposed to be doing, making sure that you're keeping up with the leases. It's amazing to me how many times you run into an owner and they forgot to charge more rent that's actually in their lease and bumps, right?
Yep.
And so there's a number of things that you can do just to make your property run more efficiently. And so we go in, we tear it apart just like a car and put it back together, and so that's essentially what we do.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of our clients are just like you're talking about, Bo. They're usually older folks that are just kind of done with the, answering the phone calls and hassling with the brokers and doing all that. And so we help with succession plans and so forth.
So it sounds like that. I'm thinking the parallel of like on a movie set, right? Who would this person be on a movie set? And I don't think it would be a director, because on the movie set, the director is the one that's calling the shots and doing the thing. But the producer, the one who's working as a producer, is making sure the director has what he needs. Everybody else is in place. Everything from pre-production, getting funds, money, location, and overseeing all of that, making sure you're hitting your goals and your points.
Yeah, I like to use a football analogy a little better. So you have the owner, right? The Jerry Jones or whoever, right?
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are actually making the pay, cutting the checks and everything like that. And that's fine. But then you hire a general manager, right, to oversee everything. I think the portfolio manager is like the general manager.
Okay.
And then the asset manager is like the coach on the sidelines, making sure the plays are in place, doing all that. And then, the property managers, the brokers, they're on the field, right? They're the ones that are doing the on the field stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's a better analogy for our audience.
Yeah, probably.
The movie set.
Everybody knows football.
But it's the same thing.
I was like, oh, is that what a producer does?
That's what.
So nice.
Yeah. That's a good
I had
point.
no idea what a producer did either.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's what a general manager does?
All I know is that the executive producer is the money guy, right?
Yeah, almost always.
Yeah.
And on a film set. Yeah.
Because mom and dad executive produced that show here in town.
That's right. Yeah. They're
didn't go real well, but that's why I know what an executive producer. Sorry, mom and dad.
They're executive producers on the film that we shot at the cabin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because they let us use it and stuff, and like, we'll give you an executive producer. It's almost a credit to give to somebody because they're giving you either money or something that's going to save you a lot of money. It's like, hey, we'll throw your name on there.
You
as
should have done
executive
like
producer.
a horror movie at the cabin.
that
That's
would
what I
be-
always think. You think of a cabin,
Yes.
you think like horror movie, right?
Oh my goodness, I've
Well-
said that so many times,
Well,
and I don't know
Timmy's
if mom and
in-
dad would want that.
Well, Timmy's in 2 movies that come out this year.
Yes,
One of them's
Really?
a horror film, and the other one's at the cabin. But the one at the cabin's not a horror
it's
film.
not a horror, but I did make a mock poster for that as if it was a horror film, which is really funny. Yes.
Did I tell you why I had Michael come on for this episode? Like, do you know what we're talking about?
No, but can I ask him?
Yeah.
Michael,
Yeah.
what are you teaching me today? That was a transition noise.
Oh, is that going to be?
Hey, there's some new stuff going on today.
Well, besides water ski show, I was going to teach you some artificial intelligence.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Michael has an AI course. It's called Implementing AI in Commercial Real Estate. And I
Yeah.
took the course.
Okay.
What I asked Michael to do here today is pull out a few things that our audience can instantly get and apply to their business so that there's some real benefit. And then I want to talk a little bit about his course. And he's even been gracious enough to provide a discount code, I think.
Oh,
I think
What?
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask him.
What?
But he's live now, so we'll circle back to that at the end of the episode.
Oh, God. Awesome.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it. You put somebody on the
I'm
spot with an audience.
Glad I did
and-
that.
So let me give you a little bit of an overview of my experience in the course, and then we can jump into some of this stuff. And,
Love it.
And I think Michael is even going to be able to demonstrate some stuff for us.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
So it's a 6-week course, 1.5 hour sessions. They're on Zoom, very interactive. It's great. We could stop him, ask questions, all that stuff. He was demonstrating everything live. So it was very, very good, easy to follow. The course was broken up into these 6 weeks, which included sort of the intro week. If you're new to the concept of AI, the first week was a little bit more basic, though I wouldn't call it basic at all. Got into the LLMs, ChatGPT, and some of its competitors, and some of the things that they can do, prompting tools. One of the things I want him to show us later on is Perplexity AI.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Perplexity?
No.
Oh, dude,
I'm-
this is like you almost don't need Google anymore.
Oh, nice.
This is cool. So
Okay.
I'll let. Then we did a week on market analysis.
Right.
Specifically, Michael and I teach 102, which is market analysis for
Right.
the CCIM Institute. And I was amazed at what AI can do to accelerate the process of market analysis.
Wow.
It really
Wow.
kind of blew me
Yeah.
away. And then there's an investment analysis week next. So how can it actually help you do the numbers? Now, I thought that AI was good at language, but bad at numbers. Turns out it can do numbers a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Yeah.
And so that was a big eye opener for me as well.
Yeah.
Then he got into a week of like CRMs and automation,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
databases and stuff.
Right.
And I was sitting there thinking, holy moly, there's so much of this that could speed up everything and just make us so much more efficient and effective. And at that point, I think I started to get a little bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like there was so much.
You need a foundation before those walls go up.
Well, what I need is a human being to do this stuff.
Yeah.
I want to know what's possible.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha.
and then
Who, not how.
that's right, baby.
Mhm.
Who, not how. And then he did a week on enhancing operations and then a week on marketing strategies. And that was the course. And I'll
Wow.
tell you, every one of these was 90 minutes chocked full. Like 80 of those 90 minutes, every session were just like, I hadn't thought of that. That's brilliant. Like I hadn't considered that.
Yeah. Let's jump into it.
Well, it's one of those things where we actually had a presentation about maybe a year and a half ago, and this guy came into our local CCIM chapter and he was talking about how he was using it. And my mind was blown away. I didn't know that all these things were possible. And so about a year and a half ago, I just started doing, just like you're just talking about, Timmy, like a deep dive into commercial real estate. I did like a deep dive into AI. I wanted to know, from beginning to end, because my feeling, and I know there's a lot of, some of the experts out there, I think it's the biggest change, the biggest shift that we've seen since the only thing I could compare it to is the advent of the internet, right? I remember the internet when I was, in high school or grade school, mostly high school, I guess, but the AOL chat and all that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I am.
But, a lot of people didn't understand that it was going to change. Like nobody knew what the internet was. Back then it was like for chat. Wow, this is really cool. We can chat with each other online and I don't have to pick up a telephone, right? But nobody, I don't think, really understood the applications that now we know, obviously, and are well aware of. But it was this new shift in how people were thinking. And I think a lot of people think the same way with AI. They think, wow, this is really cool. I can go on and I can have it explain quantum physics to me like I'm a 7-year-old. Well, that's great. But how does it actually help me? And what tools are out there to actually help me be better at business, better, more efficient, doing all these things. And so I have this kind of mind where I put things together. I probably, if I was smarter, I probably would have been an engineer, but I like to figure out and tinker and how could I use this? And so that's why I put this course together, and it's implementing AI because we actually are doing it and showing these different tools and how you'll be able to use them. And it's specific to commercial real estate. So I've been in private equity. I was in brokerage for 10 years. Now I'm in, property management, asset management. And so I've got kind of a diverse range. And so I was like, okay, well, in each of these roles, how could I have used this? And so that's where I came up with this course. And I figured, okay, well, what are sort of the tenets? What are the bases for each of these? And so we came up with a 6-week course. I originally had it as an hour. I was like, I have so much information here.
Right.
I need to extend this out and now I do a 90-minute course. And even that is really, it goes by in a flash. I mean, I could probably tell you, but
like every one of those could have easily been 2 hours,
Yeah.
Did you do that all from like sitting down and did you, my question is, did you use the help of Chat GPT to expand your course or organize your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Be kind of, it wouldn't be right if I didn't. Yeah,
no, right. It'd be silly not to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I use AI to help build the course. I use what are called these AI agents, which help build the course. So their agents are like Chat GPTs that actually query themselves. So they'll actually think through a process. So you say, I want to create a 6-week course on implementing AI in commercial real estate. And so what then it'll do is it'll break that sentence apart and then it'll query based on what it thinks it needs to do. And so it'll say, okay, I need to research that and research that and research that. And it'll keep querying itself until it comes up with a literal course content, course, outline.
Wow.
And then from there, I can break it apart and do different things with it. And, knowing what I know, I can sort of, mold it as I will. But yeah, AI helps you do all those things.
Look, if you are one of our Apple podcast listeners or one of the platforms that doesn't have the video, this might be an episode where it's worth jumping over to our YouTube channel so you can see a little bit of what Michael's going to show us. And let's start with Perplexity, because this was something when I had no clue what it was before I took your course, and I've been using it a ton since. So give us a little feel for what Perplexity is, and maybe you could share your screen and show us, like, particularly when you used it to have it do like job analysis for a market.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck? This was,
I use this in place of Google now. If I'm going to search the web or anything, I come here at this point. So if you think about, if you're going to query Google, you would say, what is the 10-year treasury yield, right? And then it would give you, probably a list of things where you could go in. But if you had a more dynamic sort of query, and you'd have to go into each website, right? Each link that Google sends you, you click in there and then you look for it and everything like that. Well, The difference with Perplexity is it gives you the answers. Okay, so this is Perplexity. And so this is where the knowledge begins. So what is the 10-year treasury yield versus the S&P 500? And so we put that in. And the cool thing about get another drum roll.
That's perfect.
The cool
timing.
thing about this is it actually will give you, they just did a partnership with this company called Taco, I think or Taco, I don't know what it is, but they give you all of this information into what they call knowledge cards.
Wow.
And so this is a knowledge card where it gives you, so once again, you'd have to go and you'd have to maybe go to Fred and put this in and change the graph to get this automatically gives you that information. So here's the S&P 500 versus treasury yield bonds. And so it gives you all that data. And then down here, of course, it gives you, the current values. And then at the top, it gives you where they're getting all these sources. So, here's your Google. This is where you would have to go to get all this information. But instead, the AI automatically gives you this information in a really easy to digest format, along with all the information. And then you can ask follow-up questions to it, like, what was the treasury yield in the 1980s or whatever it is that you want.
So Timmy, and stay right there if you would.
Yeah.
Michael, because I want you to do something with Perplexity. But do you remember in our first episode when I was explaining to you economic base analysis, and I was talking about the BLS site, Bureau of Labor Statistics, and how it's a black hole and there's all this data and you can go in there and just get lost and it's hard to find anything?
Yeah.
Michael, ask it to find BLS data for like a job trend analysis.
Yeah, so what is the current manufacturing employment in Kentucky? So let's see what it, as of May, it was approximately 250,000 workers, significant portion of the workforce, 13.16% of the state's total employment. So it gives you all of this information. And then here are a lot of the,
can you actually direct
links.
it to get that information from the BLS?
Maybe.
Let's see.
Well, that was one of the things here, right? Yeah. So here it is. It's pulling from the BLS. So then you could just go to that link, and so here's where it's pulling the data. It's saying,
and there it is.
The and here it is.
So it essentially takes the black hole of BLS and makes it user friendly,
right?
Like in this case, right here, right?
I mean, if you go to the home page on this, and you're trying to find out what's the manufacturing in Kentucky, you'd be lost.
Oh man, it would take you
unless you do it all the time.
Holy cow.
But yeah, it gives you it all right there. So
imagine writing a term paper in college. I would have to go to the library. I'd have to look up on microfiche and all this stuff and go find and make copies and all that.
Now you're really aging yourself.
Yeah, well, I was
microfiche.
Fiche. Is that how you say it? Microfiche?
Yeah, microfiche. Yeah. I remember doing that.
Do you want to go catch some fishes?
Now, here's the thing. All that same information is still available. It's like you've got a 1-second search timeline now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
where it used to take hours and hours and hours.
Wow.
You get to the same information. You just get there much, much, much faster.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And you're not trusting, like if you ask ChatGPT this, it might give you some of this same information, but I don't know at least if I can trust it. But when you go to Perplexity, it pulls and then it sorts, it cites its sources.
Right.
And it's all,
so you got more accurate data. You're not guessing so much and you're saving so much time.
Well, it can still give you crap data.
Yeah.
But you can see where it got it.
Right. Yeah.
You can so quickly check the source, which is, I think, a big problem that a lot of people have with using AI or ChatGPT. It's like, where did it get this?
I know, right.
It's like, can I trust it or not? With here, Perplexity, man, it doesn't give you all the links where you still have to click through and read and find out if this is what you want.
Yeah.
It does all that for you, gives you the AI generated answer, and then cites its sources, and you can go verify accuracy, verify the quality of the sources and all that stuff. And man, when I'm looking at a new market, do we want to invest in this market or not?
Right.
This is like step 1 or 2 is just, man, start giving me, you just start feeding me information on that market, especially when it comes to the jobs.
Right.
Man.
Yeah. So so think about what we want to know is like, who are the top 5 employers in Austin, Texas, right? And so let's say we're going to invest in Austin, Texas, and we'd have to go and try to find all this information, but now it's going to give us all this information, right? And so it says number 1 is Dell Technologies, and there's a map of everything, right? University of Texas, Austin, City, Austin, and then tech companies, they have large offices. So let's say Dell Technologies, and I want to go Dell Technologies.
Wait. You just highlighted that and clicked ask follow-up about that one thing?
Yeah. Just highlight it and then ask follow-up. And so then it tells you Dell Technologies and gives you all the information. So then what I can do is summarize their last quarterly report, especially around employment.
Wait a second.
And so now we can try
hold on a
to
second, Michael. Can you capture that little noise he made for a future sound effect? That
that could be your new transition.
Oh yeah.
Next time I screw up.
Oh, you're coming around on the transitions, huh? I've got our screw
I'm
up
taking over new transitions.
Sorry. Okay.
Yes, I absolutely can sample that.
All right.
So then, you're trying to find out, what is going on with employment. So then you can find out, okay, well, this is what they said on their last quarterly report because they're, a public company. And so you can get all this data now, which is amazing. It's right at your fingertips. And it takes so much of the time that you used to spend doing, market analysis in this, and you can use this to just gather information so fast. And it really changes a lot of stuff because then you can start to automate some of this. So when there's new notifications, when there's new things that happen, news feeds, and then you can have AI summarize it for you, tell you what's going on. I mean, there's just so much that you can know and learn from all this. But
we don't have to spend too much time on it, but like for anybody that's interested in doing it, I just pulled it up and it looks like you could start. There's a free version, kind of like ChatGPT.
That's what I'm using.
You're using the free version.
Yeah, I'm using the free version.
And then who would you recommend to get pro in this space?
So I would recommend somebody upgrading one of the large language models, whether it's Perplexity, whether it's ChatGPT, which I have the upgraded model on.
Yeah.
Whether it's Claude, Anthropic Claude. Any one of those. I would suggest having at least one paid version of those because usually they have a lot more elements that you're able to do. For example, on this one, you can, it says try pro. You can image upload, smarter AI, more pro search sort of stuff. On ChatGPT, you can do a lot more in terms of utilizing their more queries. You can do, it used to be that you'd have to pay to get their most recent version. They've kind of changed that, but I think they'll change it again when they introduce ChatGPT 5 or whatever they're going to call it next.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my suggestion. Get one that is a paid version, at least of one of them that you might like, and then go from there.
The question I have in my head right now is what's happening to Google? Like what's going to happen to Google because of this, in your opinion?
Google is in freak out mode right now. Now they have recently done something similar to Perplexity because Perplexity was taking a huge amount of their market share.
Right.
And so now they are giving you AI generated stuff.
Right. I see that
similar
now.
to this, but a little different.
Right.
The other thing is you look at Perplexity, I don't see an ad anywhere, right?
Not yet.
When you go to Google, there are ads everywhere, right?
Right.
Every time you click on it.
Well, they trick you.
Yeah.
They make the ads look like links, and then you
Right.
click through to an ad and you're like, that's not what I was going for. And
Yeah.
Right.
But once you're privy
Right.
to it, you skip the sponsored, like, the first 3 or 4 sponsored.
Yeah.
I always go and skip.
yeah, I do too, but still sometimes it gets
Well,
me.
you're right. But I think ultimately Perplexity will end up having ads.
I want to show you one other thing.
Okay.
This is this thing called Agent.AI. This is the owner of HubSpot just came out with this, and I think it's really awesome. So you can use this. This is free too. I don't pay anything. They give you a certain number of credits, and then you can get sort of referrals and so forth. But you can just put in a company or a company domain. So you just put in Dell Technologies, if we're sticking with Austin here, and hit go, and it's going to pull in all of this information, website, table. So there's a whole table of contents. They're going to do competitor analysis, reviews, decision makers, news articles. So you can do this with actually any business. Just put in their website and it's going to do it for you.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's really amazing. Yeah. So here's competitor analysis all right there. It's loading right now, so there's a lot.
Mhm.
But
we need a drum roll, I guess.
yeah, eventually when it finally loads. But yeah, no, it's amazing. And you can like if you're leasing to a company that's already established, they've got a website, they've got, some financial data, you can go in and you can immediately vet that company and find out, who they are, what they do.
Wow.
What's their financial stability like and so forth. And so it just gives you a lot. Still loading, but
Would it go into, like Wikipedia will also take, they will cite their sources, and
yeah.
like one of those is like the history of the company. How did it come about and stuff like that? Would this do that as well? Or is this more just comparative analysis? Do you know?
It's really just about everything that is in the company. I mean, once again, competitor analysis, decision makers, news articles, tech products.
Do they have a patent?
It has everything. I don't know.
Like, would that be something you could find?
So you're asking too many logical questions.
I know. I'm just thinking like, oh, how can I use this?
I was just showing off shiny objects.
Oh, you're free to check it out.
I know. I will.
Yeah, this is pretty cool though. Agent.AI. If you go there, you can, make an account and then.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really cool because, a lot of times we're dealing with companies and I want to know what they're about, right?
Right.
So we can find out a lot of information here.
That's incredible.
And
Yeah.
just for the sake of time, let me kind of ask you the next thing. Somebody came up to me while I was in Salt Lake City and said, look, we should do an episode just on how to prompt well. Whether it's Perplexity or ChatGPT or one of the other ones. But you had a really cool model on how you prompt. And I wonder if you'd be willing to share that.
I guess so. Why not?
Okay, let me rephrase my question as not a question. Take his course.
I didn't think it was.
This was really cool. I didn't know,
Give some of that course information.
Okay, that was a little bit of a game changer for me, that framework you had. And I'm not going to ask you to share it here. We'll just use that as a carrot.
Well, yeah, so I can explain a little bit of it. I mean, there's a lot of different prompting techniques, right?
Jesus.
There's chain of thought. Just looking at all my notes here. There's self-consistency, where you're making sure and asking it different follow-up questions. There's iterative, but the one that I think you're referring to is called Rhodes.
Yep.
Rhodes framework. And it basically, it defines it and breaks it down into how you interact with the Chat GPT model or not, or, Claude, Anthropic or Gemini. So the Rhodes is role. So you tell it what it is, basically. Like, you are a market analysis expert and you're, adept at employment statistics or something like that. And then there's the objective, what you're trying to accomplish, what trying to figure out what the, changes in employment over a 10-year period in, Austin, Texas, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So then you go into details, like what details do you want? And then you use an example of what you might want. And then the final S is a self-check. Like, you ask the Chat GPT, do you have any questions on what I've provided to you? And that seems to have
Wow.
it where it can like sense and understand. And the analogy that I use a lot with a lot of people is, and the best one that I've heard is that think of it as an intern. ChatGPT is an intern, right?
Mm,
If you had an intern or a junior broker or whatever it is working for you, you would have to do all these things to an intern, right? You would have to thoroughly explain what it is that you want, because if you don't, the intern's not going to really know, and they're probably not going to ask a question. They're
right.
just going to go off and then give you something that is probably totally useless to what you want. And so you have to do the exact same thing with ChatGPT. You have to sort of set the guideline, the parameters, what it is that they're going to be doing, what it is you want, what's your output, and make sure if there's any questions, hey, let me know. I'm here, to help you out
Now,
along the way.
Wow.
let me tell you what happened in Salt Lake City, in the room that you could have been in, but weren't because you were
I was on the water.
creating memories with your
On the
son,
water,
exactly
sitting
where
back,
you should have been.
relaxing. Yeah.
We did a lot of this AI stuff. All right. And,
Yeah.
and you can imagine in a room that big, you're going to get some pushback, right?
Sure.
And you can imagine
Sure.
maybe the color of the hair on the people who were
Mhm.
pushing back a little bit,
Yes. Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
And I used this analogy of
This
the
is
intern.
where ego comes in, right?
Yeah, well, maybe so. But
Yeah.
look, in 2021, my son was 19. He had just finished his first year of college, and I had him intern with me. He literally was my intern.
Mm.
And his first week on the job, I was teaching 102 in Nashville. And so I put Will in that course.
Mm.
And he took 102. And I spent that week teaching him market analysis and training him to do the job he was going to do for me for the rest of the summer.
Wow.
And he did great. I was a little nervous, if I was going to be honest with you. I thought this is either going to go really, really well, or he's going to be jello necking in the back, and I'm going to want to rip his arms off and beat him with them,
Sure. Sure.
But he was interested. He did great. I think he got a 92 or a 94 on the exam,
Whoa.
which is
Wow.
higher than I got when I took it way back when.
Wow.
Yeah, come on, Will.
Look at you just at the ready with the hand clap.
That's
Yeah.
right.
All right, turn it off. Too long. But my point in sharing this with the room there was, look at whatever AI tool you're using as an intern.
Yeah.
It's a new team member. And when Will got out of that course and he started doing the job for me, I continued to have to train him.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to check all of his work to make sure it was good. And the better he got, the less I needed to check his work and the more I trusted his work. And by the end of the summer, I could tell him exactly what to do. And when he completed the project, I skimmed through it, but I trusted it at that point.
Yeah.
But it took us a period of time to build the trust where I knew he was doing really good work, and I still checked it.
Yeah.
I didn't just use it with a client,
Right.
I still had to look, but that's, I think, a big mistake that some people make is they either
Trust it too much.
they either want it to be really good from the jump.
Right.
And when they realize they can't trust it right away,
Yeah.
they're like, I'm out. This isn't any good. Or
Yeah.
they're like, I can never trust it.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's cheating or something like that.
Yeah.
No, it's just like bringing a new person on your team who's going to do work for you. That's what this is.
Yeah.
And I really like that intern. I heard it from you first for sure. And that really seemed to land when I was sharing that with the group.
It is a great analogy.
Over the weekend. Yeah. So I really like that.
I think a lot of people have probably said the same thing back when the computer was becoming more mainstream, or
the
calculator, things like that. Yeah, right. All of a sudden, the people who were doing it manually, figuring out IRR manually, were now like, "Well, that's cheating."
Right.
Oh yeah, they're not going to know
Right?
how to do multiplication if they
Or
use the
when
calculator.
people were using their HP calculators, and then all of a sudden the spreadsheet came out, right? Oh, that's cheating. Now you can manipulate the data and all this. And so I think it's just a mindset change. And you're right, maybe some of the older generation, but I had a guest on what I was doing, and he had said, you're actually be surprised how many of the veteran real estate agents are really adopting this and taking it seriously. It's not just for the younger generation. There definitely are some veterans that are going full bore into this, and it's great because once again, I think this is really going to be the future of how we look at information and how it's disseminated. And, when we talk about, getting into now predictive analytics, right? That's the whole next generation of what we're talking about. So when you put in back data and then you start to test it on different scenarios, and it's going to give you that. So if you look at like historical absorption versus employment in a certain industry, and now we can have all that back data from places like Moody's, CoStar, and those sorts of things. And now we can start to ask AI, okay, well, what happens if employment in this sector goes up 10% over the next 5 years?
Yeah.
What does that do for absorption? And it can start to manipulate those numbers and give us these predictive analytics. In my business, what I have to do is I have to be looking out in the future, right? When I'm thinking about an investment or where our portfolio is at, I have to be looking ahead, and start to make changes to our portfolios and be proactive instead of reactive, right? And so I have to understand these predictive analytics far out in advance. And so that's where AI has just made it. It's a total game changer for what we do.
Would you say it's been a good anxiety pill in a way, right? With all that you're doing in the future?
Yeah. Well, oh, I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. How's your anxiety level now that you can?
Because if you are always focused about the future, the potential of high anxiety of that job would be there. But with this, yeah, you see what I mean?
Yeah. How's your anxiety level? Like this. Yeah, but this is my typing hand, like.
I like that.
Yeah, that's funny.
No, well, what it does is it helps validate what you're doing, right? When you're because ultimately I have to report to the owner, and why are we making these decisions and so forth. And so you want to compile as much data and try to, which again, stress test these things. Because it really does come down to risk. Bo and I have been talking about that for a long time. Really what I do is risk analysis. And so we have to throw in these different scenarios and find out, okay, well, if this happens, are we still okay? If this happens, how does it change, our portfolio or our asset or whatever? And so this just helps validate it, and it helps validate it quicker than I used to be able to do in the past. So yeah, all around. And that's what I'm teaching essentially, is how you're going to be able to go grab this information, how you're going to be able to use it faster, how you're going to be able to incorporate it in your business. And, let's say for six weeks, you get one or two things out of it that really change your business and help you make money, be more efficient, spend more time with your clients instead of going through all of this, operational, red tape sort of thing. I think it's worth it. So
great.
Yeah. And based on my last question that I asked you to do, I don't want to really steal the thunder of the course or anything, but is there something else you'd be willing to share that you think our listeners could just grab onto and maybe apply, like something maybe they haven't thought of before?
Yeah. Can you show us a little skin?
Show us. Yeah. So what I do now is I work a lot with DST providers because they have the exact same clientele that I do. Older people who don't want to operate their properties and so forth.
Can you tell Timmy and me what you mean when you say DST?
Sorry. Yeah. So DST stands for Delaware Statutory Trust.
Oh, okay.
And so what these are they're basically vehicles that you can invest in. There is a group of people that run these, kind of similar to funds, right? And so the tax advantage is that you can 1031 into DSTs. They're run by somebody else. There's a whole bunch of different qualities of a DST that are helpful. Some of them are not helpful, depending on, if you need liquidity, you can't get your money out until the termination of the fund, those sorts of things. But they have great tax advantages. You can roll in on a 1031. You can roll out on a 1031. So if you want to take a break from real estate. So anyway, the idea is that they have a very similar profile. And so if I'm going into LinkedIn, and let me share my screen again, because I think I should probably show this.
This is cool.
And I don't, you guys are really Stealing my thunder here.
Yes.
Okay, so good.
Oh, Google.
So there's this. Whoa! Look at here.
Hey, there we are.
Look at us,
Woohoo.
right front and center.
Nice.
Okay, so if I go into Bo Barron, let's say for example, and here's beautiful Bo.
So handsome.
I did this as an
Bo.
example, and I grabbed up Bo's old. Did you know he's got an old LinkedIn profile? Let's see if we can find it.
It's really funny. Way back in the day when I was with SVN,
yeah,
they mandated 100% social media participation, and they created everybody in the company.
Look at that. Look at that mug.
Yeah,
that's back when we made our first video, Bo.
That is probably 27-year-old Bo Barron right there.
Oh my goodness.
Sexy.
Oh my goodness.
Sexy.
I might have been out of the Marine Corps about a year at that point.
If I can find it, I'm going to show you something, but yeah, in a minute.
That is really funny though. I pulled that up just to make fun of Bo. He wasn't on my he watched the recording of that one, but I said, I can't wait for you to watch the recording of that module. And he got a giggle out of it.
Oh my goodness.
I was like,
so anyway, there's this of course. There's this company called Bardeen AI. And what Bardeen AI does is they do this sort of web scraping. And so what you can do is you can set up these, they call them playbooks, where you can go, if they're structured, and scrape all the data and put it into a spreadsheet. And so what I can do right now is I can go ahead and just, I have ones for different ones, right? So I have one for CREXI, for sale. It can scrape CREXI. I've got one for estate planners because I work with a lot of estate planners, DST providers, like I said, real estate attorneys. And so then what I do is it'll go into a Google spreadsheet. So if I go ahead and scrape, watch what it'll do too. So it'll go ahead and it'll scrape, and it's taking all the data from his LinkedIn profile, and now it's going into this Google sheet. And so if you look on the very last one here, there's his name, right?
Wow.
So that was all of his information. From here, now what I can do is I can take that and form these automations. So what it does for me is it goes in, it automatically creates a contact in my HubSpot. So HubSpot contact, and then it automatically creates a email based on what I wanted to say. I've got different integrations through Zapier. And so then it creates an introductory email. And so it's in my inbox right now. I go to my drafts, it's right there. And I can shoot off an email to him, and it's all done automatically just by clicking on their name and scraping the information.
Oh my God.
So think through this.
That's Bardeen.
Yeah. So think through what in his course, he actually shows you how to set all this stuff up. Okay. Yeah. So don't, that's too much for our episode here, but imagine this. I go on some website, whether it's LinkedIn or anything that's not behind really a paywall, or as long as you can get behind the paywall, you go in and let's say it's self-storage owners or whatever, and you can create a list. You can set this up to not only scrape the data and put it in a spreadsheet, but then integrate that spreadsheet. So every time there's a new row of information, it automatically puts it into your CRM. And then you can have a sequence created to where, that introductory email is automatically created. Yeah. And then you can set up, HubSpot can do this. There's a lot of platforms like HubSpot, Salesforce, Infusionsoft, or whatever they call it now, Keep. There's a number of other ones now where if they respond, this sequence happens. Wow. If it doesn't respond, then I'll send a follow-up email in 3 days and then another 3 days or whatever. You can set that up to automatically go. And the purpose of the emails could be to try to get them to schedule an introductory call. Right. And so if you're good at setting up those sequences and moving people kind of to the next step, then all of a sudden you've got introductory calls on your calendar that was completely AI generated, integrated like through web scraping and oh my gosh, and CRM automation and all that stuff.
I can feel Alice shaking in her boots.
Alice, you are very safe.
Alice, you're very safe.
Alice, you are safe.
But I mean, think of the alternative to this. So you got to go in, you got to click on, this is the founder of Bardeen, so he's got his. But click on their contact info. Then I've got to go and I've got to type it all into my contact management system. Then I've got to go and I've got to create an email to introduce my company. Like that could take 5-10 minutes per contact.
Oh,
Yeah.
easy.
Now I can go through this list, scrape. I can have it all in my contact management system, and I can have introductory emails all within minutes,
Wow.
seconds. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Wow.
And so you can just kind of become so much more efficient with everything. So
That's
Right.
unreal.
yeah, I mean,
Look at that photo.
I used to have somebody, I know, he's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
I used to have somebody that used to abstract our leases because we go through a lot of leases, especially when we take over a portfolio. And so now I can have my custom GPT do it. I've got a lease abstractor that I have that sets up perfectly with my lease management system. There's just a number of ways that you can use AI just to,
Let me ask
once
you one
again,
question.
implement it, be more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me ask you one question about the lease abstraction, because you have your custom GPT do it.
Yes.
Like you could have just Chat GPT do it.
Yeah. But the inputs they're not the way that I want them. So if you just ask ChatGPT, please abstract this lease for me, it'll put it out in any output that it feels like that's, so I go in and I create a custom GPT because this is specifically the outputs that I want.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, I want it to line up with an import into my lease management system, right? So I want that export to be the way that I want to import it into something else. And so you can go in and you can create those custom GPTs and make sure that that's the output that you're getting.
Now, is it also true?
Yeah.
I know I cut you
Go
off,
ahead.
but is it also true that when you create a custom GPT, you can make that private so that the information you put into it does not become part of the general OpenAI model,
Right.
correct?
Right.
Okay.
So what they say is that they're not training their data on your inputted data. So if I upload a lease to it, they are not training it. They don't know the information on it. They're just, it's sort of it's privacy protected essentially. So
wow. Well, you know how much you love that photo right there, probably as much as I do, of Bo. If you stop sharing your screen for a second.
Oh, we got an even better one?
Oh, we got a video to go along with it.
I'm so excited about this. I can't even stand it.
It's
okay, let me.
So 13 years ago, Bo, Sperry Van Ness, Sperry Van Ness that was doing that. Bo asked me to help him make a video. This is probably like the first, we could say this was the first iteration of what ultimately came to this.
Is this the one where the founding fathers are on either side of me?
Yeah.
Oh, this is.
I just want to show you a piece of it because I think Michael will love it.
This is how far we've come, baby. This is so bad.
Here we go. Can you see it?
Yes. Oh, I love it.
The music was good.
I'll just show you a clip.
Hi, this is Bo Barron, Managing Director of Sperry Van Ness.
See, I've got-
Oh my goodness.
And this is the inaugural edition.
I've got the founding
Barron
fathers
video
looking
blog.
down on me.
So not only do I think that this is a very relevant media, and not only do I think that this is cutting edge cool, but mainly because
Cutting edge cool,
I've got
baby.
a tech wizard brother who showed me how to do all this. The Barron Group is jumping into the video blog arena with both feet.
With one
Now,
episode ever.
Today we'd like to talk about
both
tenant
feet.
representation. We understand.
Did you hear
not
what you
the
said about
sexiest
me?
topic,
And also
but
because I got a
extremely
tech
relevant
wizard brother
as we see
to
the
do it.
economy
Anyway, that was.
improve and tenants
If anybody's interested
begin
in watching that
to
video,
consider
I'll put the link in the
relocating again.
comments.
Oh, please
tenant
do.
That's awesome. It'll go from
Really
its
be
12
summed up
views
in
over
one thing.
13 years to
Engaging
double that in a couple days.
Oh
Probably.
yeah. You start to monetize that immediately.
Oh yeah, we got to get on that. I'm actually posting that in the comments right now. If anybody wants to go watch the full video, there's good information on there, I bet. But
Probably. Oh,
yeah,
who knows?
that's so funny.
Who knows?
So funny. All right. Well, I don't know how long we've got him. I don't want to take too much of your time, Michael.
Well, I thought This is, I think, a good time to wrap before he shares too much. But I did put him on the spot
Before I
early
share with him too much.
So I really.
So anyway, I gotta go.
Let's cut this off
so
now.
this is
that
the time
Timmy
to go.
is getting. No, but there's two things I want to wrap up here. One is, would you be willing to give our commercially speaking audience a enticing discount to join the next iteration of your course that starts on August 6th?
Yes, I will do that for you.
My man.
My good friend. My good friend.
That is very kind.
Okay, so I got to make so let's say 10% off.
Yeah, baby.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
10% off. 10% off.
Do we need a
and
code?
So I got to make a code. Yeah, I got to make a code.
Yeah.
Let me write this down.
How about?
It's got to be kind of short.
Yeah.
Okay, so commercially
CS
speaking,
pod?
is too long.
I mean, we
Okay,
do
so
CS
10%
pod.
off.
Yeah,
What do you want?
CS
Or-
pod.
CS pod.
Yeah, CS pod, commercially speaking podcast, CS pod.
Okay, so
Yeah.
CSPOD.
Yep.
Okay. I'll put it up this afternoon.
Great.
Okay.
And when this goes,
So you
when
guys will have it.
this podcast,
Oh, they got to know where to go.
Yeah.
they gotta know
So
where to go.
like, give them the details.
yeah, how,
Where to
how-
go
Oh,
to
okay.
sign up. We'll include that in the show notes, like the link
Yeah.
to
Okay.
sign up. But
Got it.
yeah, because this will actually be published in a few weeks, or like maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
before
Oh, okay,
August 6th for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So it's OR for Oregon, SCI.net. So Oregon Society of Commercial Investors. It's a society that I put together several years ago. So ORSCI.net. Go to the events tab, and it's right there. So you can sign up there, and then when you're checking out, just put in this CSPOD for commercially speaking podcast.
I'm texting
And,
the link to you right now.
Oh, great.
Tim.
And you get
I'm putting it in the
And you
comments
get,
for our listeners right now. We do have a listener question that
Yeah.
I don't, it sounds like a little out of the realm, but I'll let you decide.
Okay.
The first question was answered through the podcast. And again,
Yeah.
shout out to Oscorp Enterprises. I use AI to analyze spreadsheets and PDFs to give summarized results with large PDFs. Other than content creation, data analysis, what are you guys using it for? We've already answered that question.
Yeah.
And you can dive in more going to that link.
Well,
go
yeah,
ahead.
there's a deeper dive into that where you can actually start, once again, creating your custom GPT. So you can create, like, for example, you can take an offering memorandum. You get offering memorandums all the time, right? And so this is what I show in the investment
It's like the
analysis
marketing
side
package on a property.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
the
what I
marketing
always use,
package.
yeah.
So it's got the financials in it and everything like that. Well, I've created a custom GPT now where it will scrape the PDF, put all the numbers into a spreadsheet that I provided to it, and it'll pump it out with a lot of with all of the calculations already done. So it'll have your IRR, it'll have your cash on cash, unlevered yield on cost. It'll have all of these already done for you. So there's a way to just supercharge your underwriting real quick. So if you're in an investment group or anything and you say, well, this looks a little exciting, grab that offering memorandum off Crexy or CoStar or whatever, plug it into this custom GPT, and it'll automatically underwrite the property for you. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And that's part of
So-
your course, I imagine.
Yeah, he shows us
Yeah, I
how
showed
to
you
do
how
it
to
in
do
the
that.
course.
Yeah.
Really
So what
slick.
was the other question?
That's great. And the other question is, where is it? I would be more interested to hear, or I'd be interested to hear about the tokenization of real world assets, such as commercial real estate. And that sounds like more of like blockchain, Bitcoin area, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've got a guy that's doing that right now. I was going to interview him on the YouTube channel that I have, and he is doing this tokenization. It's interesting. I can't even begin to say that I have any knowledge around any of that tokenization stuff.
Yeah.
It seems pretty abstract to me, but I do understand the blockchain, and I think there's gonna. When I started in real estate, I started, and they were just coming out with QR codes. And QR codes, nobody kind of understood. You had to have this special app and everything. And then QR codes went away for a while. And then all of a sudden, everybody was using QR codes.
COVID,
again. Like,
man.
that's
They
how
got
you-
rid of
Yeah.
menus. And that's
Yeah.
when I think everybody really started using them again.
Yeah.
And I feel that way with blockchain. Like there was a big buzz around blockchain back in, 2018, 2019, 2020. And then all of a sudden you don't really hear about it. Like it's going to change title and escrow and all of this. But I really think it will eventually. I think it's going to come back around where suddenly, these new technologies are going to be a little more mature, and people are going to once again understand how to implement it in commercial real estate. So
What's your YouTube channel? We can send people over there.
oh, it's CRE Tech Pulse. So I've got a few. I'm uploading 2 more soon. And,
Let's go.
yeah, I interview like new people who are putting out new products, new tech products. We talk about just artificial intelligence. We talk about, I've had some great guests on. So
Amazing.
and I'm constantly changing it.
CRE Tech Post. I said post.
CRE Tech Pulse.
Yeah,
Take the pulse.
that's my
Taking a
brain.
pulse.
I just went to it, saw it with my eyes, heard you say it, and then just typed CRE Tech Post.
That's your ADHD kicking.
It is. It is. No, it's kicked in. All right. Cool. Anywhere else? Anything else you want to plug?
Yeah, where else can people find you?
CCIM. Yeah, if we want to call Bo and I out, and we'll do a class on market analysis for you.
Oh yeah. If you need a
We
102
have a fun
instructor,
time.
Michael is a fantastic choice. And if you need an asset manager, where would they go? Duck Ridge Realty?
Duck Ridge Realty. Yeah, duckridgerealty.com. And the other thing I teach on Duck Ridge Realty, if you go to the bottom right, there's this little icon, and it looks like a little AI guy, and it's a chat bot that you created. And so you're able to create these chat bots and feed them information based on your company, based on whatever it is you want. And they've got that knowledge base, that knowledge information, and so you can go and ask it questions. It's really cool. So I
that's part of the
teach you how
course,
to
too.
do that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like Clippy. You're making your own little Clippy.
Clippy was lame.
Clippy
These
was
are
lame.
so much better. Yeah, yeah. You can go in and say like, I want to have somebody in charge of my portfolio management because my dog Fluffy died, and I'm moving to Jamaica, and it'll come back and it'll say, so sorry about your dog Fluffy, and
Wow.
good luck on the trip there. Here's how we might be able to help you. I mean, it's really it's amazing stuff.
That's
It's
incredible.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. This has been
Oh,
one of my
next level.
This has been one of my favorite episodes, I have to say.
I knew it would be.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, I knew it would be.
it really is.
Well, I don't know. You had me on after Bob Knackle, and I was frankly, I was like this because going off after the godfather of New York real estate,
sure.
that is tough shoes to fill, man. You guys really put me on the spot.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, you have captured some expertise in the hottest topic in commercial real estate right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And almost everyone is super interested in this,
Yes.
including Timmy, which
Yep.
I think is why it's one of your favorite episodes.
And including Bob Knackle. He was talking about moving into this space.
Oh, yeah.
And I bet if he were to hear this or see your knowledge on it, you would get a phone call. I don't know. I don't know much, but
I love talking to Bob.
yeah.
Bob's a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime. Bob, give me a call.
Yeah. Bob, call Michael. But this is everything that you were teaching here. I could envision myself using it in other field, like apart from this,
Oh,
for
yeah.
most of it. Right. And Bob Knackle was incredible, right? Like everybody in CRE knows him, but most of the information he was giving, I was like, wow, that's a lot of really great information he's got in his head.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was quipping me to make fun of y'all down the road.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Michael, do you want to ask Timmy some questions?
Oh, do I? Really?
You want to do a pop quiz?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do a pop quiz.
Let's do a pop
All right.
quiz.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. So Michael, here's how this works.
Yeah.
We're going to ask Timmy 5 questions. And as our guest, you get to ask the first question and we'll alternate back
Okay.
and forth. Now, here are the parameters. There are no parameters. You can ask Timmy. You can ask Timmy
The capital
anything, and
of
I will even
Bangladesh?
challenge you to go deep into the 102 course content and see if he can pull up. Because I'm telling you, he has amazed me week in, week out with what he actually retains. So ask him questions about what we've covered here today. Ask him questions about anything to do with 102. I haven't taught him all that stuff, but a lot of it
that's okay.
He's got, and we'll see how he does. So
let's see.
Question number one.
Okay, so I used an analogy at the beginning of this describing.
Go ahead.
Now I'm ready.
I'll be on top of it.
I used an analogy at the beginning of this a football team compared to portfolio management, asset management. What's the analogy to an asset manager's role on the football field?
The general manager.
Close.
Oh, wait.
Close.
The asset manager, who would that be? That's what you're asking on the football field.
Yeah.
Okay, you have the owner. No, you have the owner, you have the general manager. I'm not that familiar with football, but I think I wrote it down. Oh, yeah, I thought you said there's the owner, there's the general manager, and then there's somebody in between that. There's not?
No, there's the owner, the general manager, and then the coach, and then the players.
Right.
Yeah, so which one's the asset manager?
The general manager would be, right?
Nah.
Is it the coach? It's the coach. Okay.
So you got the owner, right? They're the ones cutting the checks.
Yeah.
You got the portfolio manager.
They're
the ones that are overseeing the operations, right? And then the coach is the one that's calling the plays, dictating where the players are, the brokers, the property managers. Right? And so that's.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I that was unfair because I didn't know you don't know football. So.
Well, look, you explained it.
You explained it.
All right. Question 2.
All right.
Question 2. What does
wait. This is my question.
Sorry.
Oh.
We alternate.
We
alternate.
we alternate.
That's
okay,
right.
gotcha.
Attention to detail, my friend.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. You get question 3, and
go
then
now.
you're going to get question 5 as well. But question 2.
Now I'm gonna think of questions.
All right. There was a particular framework he shared. Actually, I'm going to make this a little bit more difficult.
Okay.
When I asked him about prompting methods, he actually threw out a number of them. Can you remember 2 of the ways?
The roads.
Okay.
Roads framing, which is one. Self consistency.
Very good.
Would be another one.
All right.
Wow. Awesome.
Nicely done.
Wow.
There we go. That's what I need. I need that. Wow. I totally bought
that hit of dopamine ding.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right.
That's awesome.
Michael, are you ready?
I'm ready now.
Question 3.
It does not have to be easy.
It's not going to be. I heard the first couple words.
Okay. All right.
What does shift share analysis tell us?
Oh my God.
That's a hard one. Was it too hard?
No.
Unfair?
It's there.
Okay.
I remember shift share. Trying to think of. It helps if I can remember what episode we were talking about it in the context of the episode. Was it during our whole? We talked about shift share during our
market analysis. Of Titusville.
Right. And so, yes, okay. We were seeing. What?
No, go ahead. This is amazing for me to just watch.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, your wheels turning.
Is he sweating?
Okay, you were shaking your head no, and I was like, ooh.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. I'm very happy. I'm in the present. Right. I'm going in the past a little bit. It's a little depressing. And a little anxious about the answer, which is coming up. I've got all 3 of those going. You are trying to look at kind of the market share of
Is there a time limit on this?
there should be. There should be. I need a clue. Don't tell me straight up. Can you give me? Yeah.
It has to do with employment.
Oh, so the NAICS codes. You need the NAICS codes to figure out shift share analysis.
You
probably,
you
right?
will use the NAICS codes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To
I'm going to give you one other clue.
okay.
Has to do with employment, and it also looks into the past, where economic-based analysis projects the future.
Yeah.
So what does it tell us?
There's the time.
Ugh.
I
Boy, I got him twice.
you
This is,
did. I've
this
not
is-
been gotten a
wow.
long time.
That is-
I'm kind of. You make me a little nervous. I told you you're one of my favorite guests we've had. This is. I really want to impress you, so I'm all tense. My brain is firing.
You are impressed. You are impressing me. Like I
Okay.
said, I was starstruck when I saw
Okay,
you.
cool.
I told him to go hard. He went pretty hard. So, Michael,
I
should
did.
have
that
known
one-
that. I should have known that.
So, given a time frame, it looks how employment in a certain industry does locally as opposed to nationally.
Yep.
So we can find out the comparative strength of a particular industry by looking at.
That's right. So you want to take the national employment, put that in a bucket, put that in the corner, strip that away. You've got another layer.
We want to strip it down,
down.
to understand what we call a regional shift,
Mhm.
and the regional shift tells us how strong that employment sector is
Yep.
compared nationally.
Right.
and it indicates
The competitive.
which of those industry sectors have comparative advantage.
Yeah, comparative advantage. Yeah.
It doesn't tell you what the comparative advantage is.
Yes.
Just that there is one there.
Yeah.
And then you get to go
I
put your
remember.
And then you use
detective hat on.
Perplexity to find it.
Yeah.
out.
Then
Yeah.
you, instead of being
That's right.
a private eye and
I-
figuring it out, you just use Perplexity now.
I remember it all now.
All right.
In the Bay, or like the context of it, what we're looking at in the specific industry of like healthcare and stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And space.
It's
space
all
jobs and stuff.
coming back to
It's all
you.
good. Yeah. In that context. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Great. Well, question 4. How is Perplexity different or beyond Google as a search tool?
It pretty much gives you the answer first, and then it'll give you the links where you can go and verify and see what your source is. And it also gives you like a little information card of sorts with all the information that it thinks that you need. And it does that by breaking down what you have given it and stripping everything down to, or getting all the information down and to giving you what they think you want.
Yeah.
Right?
So instead of Google just giving you a billion links that you have to click through and then read, and Perplexity does all that for you, gives you the answer,
Yes.
and then gives you all the links so you can go verify its answer.
yeah,
so,
baby.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
nice.
baby.
Nicely done.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right.
All right. Question 5, Michael.
Question 5?
Wrap this up for us.
Okay, so I sent you to a website that actually does company research for you.
Mhm.
What was the URL on that website?
Was it you gave 2 of them. Was it Agent.AI?
Agent.AI. Great.
Yeah, baby.
All right.
Yeah.
Follow-up question is,
Oh.
what is the coupon code for the course coming up?
Oh, great question. orsci.net/cspod. Right?
Well, no.
Oh, wait. Oh, no.
That's a
give it to
good
me again.
distinction.
Let me
You're
listen.
going to
Yeah.
go to ORCSI.
ORSCI.
SCI. Yeah, not crime scene investigation. but
ORSCI.
dot
Dot
net. And then you go to events, and then you'll click on the implementing AI in commercial real estate. And when you go to pay, there will be a coupon code box. And that coupon code is,
CS Pod.
there you go.
Oh, I'm glad
There
you asked
you
that
go.
question because that clarifies a lot.
Thank you.
I see. Well, which of course, when I go to edit this, I'll really have that information to look back on.
Yeah.
And be like, what was that? Yes.
But look, if you can't tell, I was a huge fan of the course. I
Mm.
got a ton out of it. And
Yeah.
I would highly recommend, if this is something that interests you, or if you just have a fear of getting left behind
Mm-hmm.
and getting beat by people who will begin to implement AI in their business for
Yeah.
efficiency and effectiveness and speed and all that stuff, then, and I would highly recommend you
Yes.
taking a look at his course. It's
Do it.
really, really good.
Michael, this was amazing.
You guys are
Oh
amazing.
man, it was a
I
blast
can't
having
believe
you on.
I was finally on. This is great.
We got you.
I love it.
And I want, like, we'll probably have you back. Like, there's so much
Oh,
that
yeah,
we
we
can
gotta
talk
have
about
him
and do
back.
this.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, Michael, thank
Yeah,
you.
love to.
Yeah, thank you so much. If you're watching here on YouTube, help us get Barbara Corcoran.
Yes.
Hit that subscribe button. The more subscribers we get, the bigger the guests we can get as well. We've got a weekly newsletter, free weekly newsletter, which is
subscribe.wgbarron.com. In that newsletter, we send it on a weekly basis. It includes, the latest episode of the podcast. It includes some other things that I curate that I like to read, stuff on leadership, business development, organizational culture, all those things I kind of dig. It's a mashup of all that stuff in a newsletter that we send out once a week.
Yep.
And
We're doing more lives, so we're going to let you know when those lives are coming up as well. If you like this, please let us know if you like it or not. If you would like to leave a review on Apple, which helps us out a great deal, it means a lot to us. If you're listening to it on Apple right now, click our name. It'll take you to the page. Scroll down a little bit past a few episodes, and you'll see the ratings and reviews. And right there, you can hit write review, and we will shout you out.
And as you bring up shout outs,
Yeah.
I was just with a lot of our listeners. We're in Salt Lake City.
Oh,
and I do want to
really?
do it. Jim Rosen said hi.
Jim Rosen.
Mark Seipert said
The
hi.
man.
Mike.
The other man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian Levin
Yes.
from Salem, Oregon. Huge fan of the show.
Ian.
Wanted to know when I'm bringing you to one of these events, which we absolutely have to do at some point. Gary Martinez, who's one of
Gary?
our new 102 instructors and
Gary.
won the Rising Star Award
Ah.
as the best new instructor out there these days. And he said that when he works out in the mornings,
Yes.
like this is what he listens to.
Oh.
So, man, dude, I want another set of push-ups before you head to work this morning. So, Gary, thanks for the love and the encouraging words. We appreciate
Come
it.
on, Barry. Gary, you could do it, Gary. Gary, you could do it. Push!
You could do it.
Push! Don't be a little... Come on, you got this, Gary. Push it! Good job, Gary. Good job. So that was for Gary.
That was great.
That was a great shout out
That
to
was
Gary.
great.
Working
I'm
out.
not.
That's it. I think that's it. We'll see you all next Monday. Are you sure there's anything else?
No, that's all I got.
Cool. Michael, thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, you guys.
See you soon.
Appreciate it. All right.
Bye, Alice.
Right.
Bye, Alice.
Bye, Alice.
All
Love
right,
you, brother.
Love you, man.